Today is Tuesday, October the 22nd, 2024. It is 3:41 a.m. The title of this message is I Believe in Jesus. I believe in Jesus. I'm thankful that when I was a little girl, my mother took us to church. I'm thankful that the church that she took us to gave me a Bible. I'm even more thankful that many years later, when I got older, a friend of mine gave me an even better Bible that I still have to this day, that I can clearly understand. And I'm thankful for the many angels that have come into my life, the many messengers who I have crossed paths with that have instilled knowledge and wisdom into me. I'm thankful for the many lessons that I have learned this far in my lifetime. I believe in Jesus. I'm going to be reading from Proverbs 10:22 and Matthew 10:22. Proverbs 10:22 says, "The blessing of the Lord, it makes truly rich, and he adds no sorrow with it, neither does toiling increase it." Matthew 10:22 says, "And you will be hated by all for my name's sake, but he who perseveres and endures to the end will be saved from spiritual disease and death in the world to come." Please take heart and know the times that we are in. As I have said in many other videos, many of us will not make it. Many people do not believe in Jesus. Many people are operating solely within their own will, within their own might. Many people do not believe in the afterlife. I believe in Jesus. Years ago, maybe about a little over 10 years ago, I was walking down the street in DC. It was nighttime, and there was this guy, this pedestrian. I asked him where the store was, and he pointed down the street, and I can't remember if he said he would show me or if he just continued walking in the same direction. But as we were walking, as I was walking and he was walking beside me, he said something that I thought was really strange. He just randomly said, "I'm really strong." And in my mind, I was thinking, okay, all right. And then we're walking, and then there's this police car, maybe half a block down. I guess somebody was in an accident or somebody called the police. So I see the police car, and then I look at him, and he looks at me. And at that very moment, he grabs me and tries to pull me into an alley. And before this night even occurred, I met a different man years ago who was telling me how much he loved God and how the Bible was his favorite book. And he had warned me about this night. It didn't really make sense at the time, but in that very moment it clicked. He told me, I don't remember word for word what he said. I just remember him saying something to the extent of, it's going to come a time, something. And he said, no matter what, don't stop moving. So in that instant, when this guy grabbed me, I thought about what he said. So my initial instinct was to scream for help. And the guy covered my mouth with one of his hands, and he was holding me with the other hand. But I remember what the guy said about not stopping my movement. So even though I couldn't scream because he muffled it with his hand, he was only holding me with one hand. So I was kicking my legs and swinging my arms, and he couldn't hold me. So he dropped me and ran away. It was terrifying because it made me think of the case with the woman in New York who was murdered in front of her apartment building. And there were some people who heard her screams. There were even some people who witnessed what happened, and nobody helped her. And when I looked up, when the guy dropped me on the ground, I looked up and I could see somebody's light on, and I couldn't help but wonder, did somebody hear me? Did somebody see what almost happened? But it didn't matter. I was just so thankful. I was so thankful for that angel that warned me ahead of time. I was so thankful for the remembrance of that warning at that time. I was so thankful because even though the police were literally half a block away, they had no idea. And that's just one of many examples of why I believe in God, why I believe in Jesus. One of many examples. I believe in Jesus. And there have been times in my life where I questioned God. There have been times in my life when I've been angry with God. There have been times in my life where I've questioned the overall existence of this thing called humanity. Because many times from my eyes view, I see a lack of humanity in people. I see a lack of love in people. Many times I have been convinced that this place called Earth is hell itself. But it is days like today when I am reminded that I believe in Jesus. It is days when I see the miracle of love, when I'm reminded of the love of Jesus. It is in times of healing. It is in times of redemption. It is in times of peace. It is in times of the comfort that arises after my pain that I am reminded that I believe in Jesus. Sometimes circumstance can put you in such a dark place that you forget some things. You forget who you are. You forget why you are. You're not sure about your surroundings. You feel alone. You feel lost. You feel afraid. But what I can tell you from experience is that there is comfort in Jesus. There is comfort in the Most High God. What I truly believe is more than ever, there is a need for Jesus. There is a need for the love of God. There is a need for the love of self. many people are not loving themselves. And if you don't love yourself, how can you possibly love anyone else? If you're not taking care of yourself, how can you possibly take care of anyone else? I believe in Jesus, and I know that even though at times I will fall, even though at times I get lost, even though at times I can't see the light, somehow I am yoked back. Somehow I am found again. Somehow I am revived. And I believe in Jesus.